Hello, and this is your astrological forecast for Taurus for 2023, for Taurus sun sign, and for Taurus rising. So, Taurians, are you looking forward to 2023? Well, you should be, because it's a little bit of an easier time for a majority of you than it has been. And this is really for all the fixed signs of the zodiac. Okay, so let's go into this. First of all, we do have a lunar eclipse to look out for, which is on the 5th of May at 18:23 GMT time, and that's at 15 degrees in Taurus. That's a degree of Beltane, so that's a really exciting one. So Beltane celebration should be fantastic for 2023. Right in the middle of the Taurus axis, making a conjunction to Uranus as well. But a lunar eclipse tends to be endings of particular cycles. On the 28th of October, another lunar eclipse to look out for, which is at 5 degrees in Scorpio, which is going to be in your 7th house. That's at 21:14 GMT time. 7th house is all about relationships, other people, partnerships of all kinds. So these eclipses are always a 6-month basis that you're looking out for. So again, that focus on you, which is the one on the 5th of May, and other people, which is on the 28th of October. There's where the focus is going to be, on those two aspects of your chart. You've got, continuing for 2023 Taurus, the North Node traveling in your own sign up until July. So the North Node is typically where we have to kind of struggle and really fight for, but if we do it, then we achieve a lot. And the focus for a lot of Taurians is be in the moment, be strong, be like a rock, be in the body. Whereas the South Node, which has been in Scorpio and continues to be, is like the default setting of what we tend to go into when we feel a bit uncomfortable, which the South Node in Scorpio means that, it can be a little bit self-destructive and being overly emotional and working on fear, rather than the North Node, which is saying, look, be in the body, be the Taurian, don't react to situations that are seemingly out of your control. And this has been a big sort of template for 2022 and going into 2023 for Taurus, particularly up until July. And I think that's a really big thing to reiterate, because of the Uranus factor that's been traveling in your own zodiac sign. What's happened is that things have seemed out of control, have seemed as though you're on a roller coaster and you haven't got the brake that you can kind of push and go, I want to get off this. So to be in the body, to allow things to play out, to be the full embodiment of Taurus, instead of the South Node, which is the Scorpio, which is the kind of go into the fear, and try and control things too much, allow things to play out. It's a big, big thing. And that, obviously, in that first eclipse on the 5th of May, that's a really kind of a big, big part of this, because after the 5th of May, then the nodes will change in July, and the nodes will go, axis will go, the North Node will go into Aries and the South Node will go into Libra. So be less of a focus of having to kind of be Taurian almost. On the 16th of May, Jupiter goes into your own side of the zodiac, which will remain for the remainder of 2023. This happens every 12 years. Lots of periods of expansion, opportunities, growth, change, new businesses, new ideas, new movement. This is in your first house. Suddenly you're a little bit more carefree, a little bit more optimistic, a little bit more restless in your energy of wanting things to change, which is quite far removed from the Taurian aspect. Look out from the 5th of September to the 31st of December. That is when Jupiter is retrograde, so things might slow down, or opportunities that have presented themselves may disappear, and then they might come back in the early part of 2024. Saturn moves signs, so it moves from Aquarius to Pisces on the 7th of March. That means it moves to your 11th house, which is all about friendships, groups, the collective, the money that you earn from your work as well. if you're employed. So Saturn puts boundaries on and limitations and duty and responsibility in whichever house it transits. And in your case, the 11th house, which is groups or holding the energy of other people around you, group societies, the collective, but also friends. So friends might become expecting you to be a little bit more responsible, or you have to work with friendships a lot more. Your energy goes into them. And you might have to put boundaries with some friendships that perhaps have been for a period of time overstepping those boundaries or taking up too much of your energy. So Saturn is interesting because it's been transiting over the last 3 years in your 10th house. So that's been boundary setting within work and how much work you can do, and cycles with work coming to an end, and then suddenly all that energy is going to shift to your friendships here as well. Some friendships might actually be just cut off entirely. Long-standing friendships just might just go. Uranus is still in Taurus. It's between the sort of 16 degrees and 23 degrees over the year. It goes back and forth, of course, retrograde. So that really affects people born really kind of May the 8th to around about the 15th, 16th of May. If you're born in that time frame, then you really are under the rulership of Uranus, and you might feel there's a lot of disruption, a little bit of chaos, or things needed to change, things in flux. Go with it with Uranus. That's what it's teaching you, to go with it. Liberate yourself from your own restrictions, of your limited view of how you feel, who you are, your identity, and the path that you're on. It's changing quite a bit. We've got Venus retrograde, which is Venus is your ruler. That is from the 23rd of July to the 4th of September. So there's a period in time when it might be slightly more difficult or challenging during that particular period. So just look out for that, particularly because there is a little bit of a challenge at that time when Venus is retrograde. And I have to say, it's in Leo, which is the fourth house, the home, the family. So expect delays there, or a little bit of issues for you. The other big astrological news is Pluto. Pluto is going to go into Aquarius very, very briefly. In March. This is around about 24th, 25th of March. Now, that goes into a 10th house. So it only spends 2 months going in there, but we get a flavor of what's to come. So it goes in March, it goes into your 10th house, and then retrogrades back into Capricorn at the 11th of June, where it remains for the rest of the year. And then early next year, it goes back into your 10th house, where it will be for a 20-year period. Now, I think during that couple of months from March to June, what to expect is that transformation is coming in the way that you work and the way that you operate in your work a lot. And I think that's the key aspect of this, is that seeds of change will start to happen about what you want to be doing in your work and how you want to be seen. This could be an idea of a self-employment, freelance, or going back into work if you've been self-employed, or freelance going back into employed work. There is changes that are coming here, and you're facing some fears perhaps that have been kind of around you for some time. So that's a big thing, the Pluto aspect. I think generally for Taurians, it's a calmer year, apart from if you're born between the 8th and the 16th of May. I think that's a little bit chaotic, but for a majority of Taurians, it's easier than it has been the last couple of years, because Saturn is moved out of Aquarius into Pisces. So it's gone from another fixed sign into a mutable sign, which actually supports you a lot better being in Pisces. So that helps. So I think for Taurians, it will feel still a little bit like the roller coaster for all Taurians, but a little bit more control. And particularly from July onwards, when, the North Node moves out into Aries, and you've got the Jupiter that's traveling in your own sign. I think there's going to be a real kind of sense of right, okay, now I feel like actually life's moving in a direction I want it to move into. So I think for a lot of Taurians, it's an easier time than it has been, because they've been really affected by the square aspect between Saturn and Uranus over the last couple of years, and that's not occurring. So for a lot of them, it's like, right, okay, I'm back in a field that I know, and I'm and I'm quite happy in this field, and I can be in this field for some time. Anyway, if you like the video, press the like button, and if you like the channel, please become a subscriber, and thank you very much for watching.